Hello guys, my name is Desmond and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, please do allow me to say it is very much important that I say it is very much important because what I'm about to say is massive. Hey! Massively important, ladies and gentlemen, that I say a day without learning something new, it's a day wasted. By so saying, please do make sure that by the end of each and every lesson that I conduct, you learn something new. Very much important, ladies and gentlemen, over there. So, as you can see, without any waste of time, we'll be looking at your mathematics paper 2. This is November 2021 exam paper. Trigonometry is what we'll be looking in this lesson. So I'm not going to be giving you the answers to these questions, but what I'm going to be doing is to actually take you through how you approach this type of questions. So good people, in case if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and hit that bell notification so that every time when I upload, you will be notified of my future uploads. Okay, so I've already done this question with my learners during one of my live lessons. So I would advise you to also check out in the description of this video a link which will direct you to my Telegram group where I conduct live lessons. So that's where I'll be doing a live lesson solving these questions, showing you step by steps in terms of how you answer the question and score all those marks. So the first question being 5.1, they say without using a calculator, simplify the following expression to one trigonometric ratios. Very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So one trigonometric ratio as an instruction that is given to you in terms of how your final answer should look like. Without you knowing what is a trigonometric ratio, it becomes a problem. So we talk about cos, sine, and tan. These are the trigonometric ratios that your final answer should have. So you can see there you've got angle in terms of a number and an angle in terms of a letter being letter X. So most importantly, guys, you need to remember that when you are given sine 140, you look at that angle. That angle, if it is greater than 90, then it means you need to reduce it. If it is greater than 90, you need to reduce it. Very much important, ladies and gentlemen, over there. So that means any other angle, it could be a 91, 105 degrees, it could be a 1,000 degrees. It doesn't really matter that much in terms of what the angle is, but as long as it is greater than 90, you need to reduce it. How do you reduce it? That's when you use reduction formulas. What are the reduction formulas? It is that one of 180 minus angle theta, otherwise 90 degrees plus angle theta, or 180 degrees plus angle theta, otherwise 270 degrees minus angle theta, and so on. 270 degrees plus angle theta takes you to this quadrant, and you also have 360 degrees minus an angle takes you in the fourth quadrant. Remember, you also have this one being 90 degrees minus angle theta. That is also a reduction formula. So remember, all the trigonometric ratios are positive in this quadrant, and here it is what? It is sine, which is positive, it is tan, and then it is cos in the fourth quadrant, which is positive. So that means for every angle which is greater than 90, you need to reduce it. So that means you're going to reduce that angle. Also, this one, it has a reduction formula. Then you need to work out that formula. And if you can check now, cos 50, can you see the angle? It is less than 90, meaning you don't need to reduce that angle because it is already an acute angle. So that means, in short, we are trying to reduce all the angles attached to a trigonometric ratio to make them acute angle. So already that one of cos 50 degrees an angle is an acute angle. So now let's look at this one. So can you see there you've got that angle which is a negative. So the moment you have a cos negative angle, it doesn't matter whether it is sine or it is tan. As long as you're having a negative angle, just know that it takes you into this fourth quadrant. You therefore ask yourself to say, in this fourth quadrant, is that trigonometric ratio positive or negative? Then we know it is tan, it is negative. So that means in this quadrant in which it falls, it is therefore negative tan angle. Something that you need to be careful of, Bantubaki. So if you can see, you are having a sine 140. Let me just remove all of that. So you are having a sine of 140. You can reduce that angle in two ways. You can reduce it by a sine of 180 degrees minus whatever angle that takes you back to that. I think it has to be 40 degrees. You can also reduce it by saying a sine of 90 degrees plus what is it? 50 degrees. So the reason why you might need to do in one of these two ways, it's for you to make your life easy. So you can see you have an angle of 50 at the bottom. Try to use this one so that you have the same angle. In that way, you might find that some things will cancel each other out there. But if you use this one, you are going to have an angle of 40 and you're still going to convert it back to an angle of 50. So I would rather use this reduction formula, knowingly that in the quadrant of 90 plus is the second quadrant, and in the second quadrant sign it is positive. So because it is that one of 90 along that vertical line, of which they are well known as cofunction. So you know that sine changes to cos. You therefore have cos of 50 degrees. So that cos, can you see, it is therefore going to cancel out with that. In case if you are not sure about this simplification, punch on a calculator sine 140, check what answer you are getting. Also punch this and expect to get the same answer. If you get the same answer, then it means you've done it correctly. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, over there. So quickly, let me move on to the next question. So remember, guys, as I've indicated, I might not answer all these questions, and most importantly, I'm not going to be giving you a step-by-step on how you answer these questions. I'm trying to keep this lesson as short as possible because you still have an opportunity to attend my live lesson. Okay, so let's have a look at 5.2, which is proving an identity. So they say prove the identity. You are given all of that. This is what I tell my learners. When it comes to you proving identities or simplification, you are most interested in converting everything on your equation into either cos, let me use x because the angle is x, cos x, sine x, or a tan x as a final answer. This one, maybe for now let me remove it and say you just want to convert everything to being a cos or sine. only tan angle, you can have it as your final answer, but not in the steps in between. So that means whatever that you are given, you always try to break it down into cos or sine. If you can understand this part that I'm explaining, then you'll always know the starting point when you're given that. This is what happens. Let's have a look firstly at the right hand side. I just want you guys to notice something. Can you see? You just have a trig ratio being cos, meaning there is nothing that you can do on the right, because you don't have something like tan that you can change it to sine over cos. You don't have a cosec that you can change it to 1 over sine. You don't have sec that you can change it to 1 over cos. You don't have cot that you can change it to cos over sine. Can you see what I mean? So if you have those tan, cosec, sec, and cot, you need to be changing those into cos or sine. Let's have a look at the left hand side. So can you see there, you are having this angle that you need to work out, that you need to reduce. And also when you have a sine squared x or cos squared x, you might need to try and work them out such that whatever that you are having on the identity, you make them look alike. Remember, something that at all times you should make sure that you remember. 1, it is equals to sine squared x plus cos squared x. And also, cos squared x, it can be 1 minus sine squared x. That could be equals to cos squared x, because you just transpose that. Also, a 1 minus cos squared x, it is equals to sine squared x. So what do I mean by what I've just explained? So I was saying, if you can look at that numerator there, you have a 2 sine squared x, you also have cos. At the bottom, you also have cos. How about we change that to be cos, so that on our equation, everything is in the form of cos. In that way, we know some other things can be worked out and others can cancel each other out. So that is the approach that you might need to apply on that one. But most importantly, remember that you have negative 2 in 2, then it's going to be 1 minus cos squared x. You therefore have plus cos x. You then have plus 1 over 1 minus, then you need to work out that one. And how you work it out, can you see that angle is beyond 360? So what you do is to say that number you minus 360. Whatever value that you get, then you write it there. Let's say it is 180 degrees. Then you're going to say 180 degrees minus x. You still have cos this side. Then can you see, you therefore work it out as a reduction formula to say cos 180 degrees minus that. It falls in this quadrant, and then it's positive or negative. So now, obviously, you are going to do that by that, and then you work out the like terms. So you will end up having a quadratic type of a thing where you have, let's say, negative 2 or positive 2 x squared, cos squared x, and then let's say you have also, let's say, negative 2 cos squared. I'm just giving let me say 8. I'm just giving an example. And there you have 3, but not squared on that one. So can you see? You therefore factorize. And when you factorize, you are most likely to have one of your factors looking the same as what you'll be having there at the bottom. And they're going to cancel each other out, and you remain with something looking the same as that. So good people, make sure that when it comes to trigonometry, you apply your mind. And most importantly, it's just those things that I've explained that you need to be aware of, to say, this is my starting point because I want to convert it from being cos squared x to make it sine squared x, so that it meshes with the other signs that I'm having at the bottom, and then with the hope that things will work out each other and cancel each other out until you have something which you can say it is equivalent to the other side of the equal sign. Okay, 5.4, let's quickly have a look at that. This should be one of your easiest questions. Normally, they would give you that and say given that. This is what you are given. So, most importantly, you read that which says, without using a calculator, determine each of the following in terms of P. So, this is where you need to remember that the trig ratio for sine, let's say an angle sine, it is equals to opposite over, what is it, hypotenuse. And in this section, you have your opposite being represented by y, and then r representing your hypotenuse. So you can see this angle, it falls in the first quadrant. That is why you are just going to have a drawing, let me do that, in the first quadrant where you have your triangle, no. Yes, then you have your angle there being angle 36 degrees. From this ratio, you can know that this is actually over 1, so that you have it in a form of a ratio, and you say this is your y, this is your r, meaning your r, it is 1, and then your opposite, it is the square root of 1 minus p squared. So now you need to use a theorem of Pythagoras in order for you to determine this side, of which, if I remember, I did a private lesson with one of my learners, and I think that side, it is actually P if you work it out using theorem of Pythagoras. Now that you've got that which is now completed, you can therefore approach these questions. For example, you know that tan of 36 degrees, tan is opposite over adjacent, and in this case opposite is y, adjacent is x, meaning you have all of these divided by the p. That's how you score yourself your first 3 marks. But most importantly, you'll find that even when you do that theorem of Pythagoras, that calculation, you'll still be allocated maybe 1 mark or 2 on that calculation. So now you move on to this one. So you might find that somehow maybe 2 times what is it? I'm not sure if it's 72 or 70 something or whatever, and then you still need to further break it down such that it takes you down to that angle. So this is where you might find that double angles are going to be involved. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, that you pay full attention when it comes to this type of questions. So let me not really go deep into this one and invite you guys to join my lesson tonight so that you actually see how to answer these questions and you score yourself 17 marks out of 150. Then you know you've got a certain percentage that you've secured from this question. Then you move on to these other questions where you are given blah blah blah, and then you use given identity to derive a formula for cause that and that. By just looking at the marks, you are able to notice that the first one shouldn't be complicated, the second one also, and the third one not complicated but a lengthy calculation. So guys, I think I'll end it here for now, and I do thank you very much for joining. Please make sure that you subscribe. In case if you've got a question, just comment in the comment section your question, your suggestion, or whatever that you might be having. So most importantly, guys, if you like this video, just hit that like button. So guys, thanks very much for joining. My name is Desmond, and I'm out.